history, many positive changes have occurred and communities have evolved as a direct result of critical thinking. Critical thinking is about being both willing and able to evaluate one's thinking. The process consists of multiple steps, including, but not limited to, collecting information, comprehending the information, because if you can't understand what you're thinking about, you can't think about it effectively, analyzing it, and constructing it into a finished product consisting of well-reasoned conclusions and solutions. Finally, you must evaluate your finished product to confirm that it is reasonable, logical, and can be explained. Critical thinkers realize that no matter how skilled they are as thinkers, they can always improve their reasoning abilities, and they will at times fall prey to mistakes in reasoning, human irrationality, prejudices, biases, distortions, uncritically accepted social rules and taboos, self-interest, and vested interest. They strive to improve the world in whatever ways they can and contribute to a more rational, civilized society. I learned some very valuable things during my time in school, like reading, writing, and math. I enjoyed the English classes I've attended at Community Ed. They challenged me to think more thoroughly about and consider new aspects of what I read. I enjoy being intellectually challenged so I can further expand my knowledge and reasoning abilities. A few years ago, I was introduced to a new concept. The concept, self-ownership, has a much broader reach than solely the public school system. But as I had been and would continue to be exposed to public school for multiple years, it was the perfect subject of consideration for me to use to explore the concept. After experiencing 12 years of public schooling and applying critical thinking to the experience, I have come to a logical conclusion. I ask that before judging the conclusion I have reached, you listen to what I have to say with a completely open mind. The ability to do so is a crucial characteristic of a critical thinker. Each one of us has had and will continue to have an impact on the people and the world around us. In our own ways, we will each change the world. The only question is how. Over the course of my life, I've learned that it is wrong to initiate force on others and that the use of force is acceptable only in self-defense or defense of another. That sentiment has been reinforced by parents, teachers, and principals from the first day of kindergarten through today, as well as friends and even strangers. The majority of people in my life seem to encourage peaceful interactions and discourage actions such as physically harming or stealing from others. If I had to pick the most important thing I've learned thus far, it would be that the initiation of force is wrong, regardless of your age, gender, color, job title, or intentions. For those unaware, public school is funded primarily by taxation. Most people are forced to pay taxes. I say forced because even if you are one of the few people that truly desire to give a portion of their earnings to the government, you are doing so under the threat of coercion. It is not a voluntary interaction if you do not have the option of saying no without having force used against you. I very much dislike that my public school education was funded by so many that didn't want to. In addition, students cannot withdraw their attendance without substituting it with another form of government-approved curriculum. Even if those initiating force have what they believe to be good intentions, the use of force is still wrong. Herbert Spencer said that a man's liberties are nonetheless aggressed upon because those who coerce him do so in the belief that he will be benefited. I don't want anyone to have the misconception that I don't think education is important. Education is the most important and most powerful tool to change oneself and the world around us. I know that a common concern for many when they hear my statements about public school is how students that are not wealthy would be educated otherwise. I could suggest a slew of alternatives to public schooling, such as community schools that are funded voluntarily or unschooling, which allows children to learn through their natural life experiences. All interactions ought to be voluntary, even if that means having to be more creative about finding solutions and ways of achieving things that you need or want to see in your life and your community. Voluntary interactions are not only the moral route, but would be beneficial to each and every one of us. I think it's safe to say that every one of us that is graduating today has a vision of what their future could or should look like. And while I wish you all the best on your journeys, I want to remind you that it's great to plan for your future. Just don't live there, because really nothing ever happens in the future. Whatever happens, happens now. So live your life where the action is, now. Now I will continue on to make a positive impact on the world by being a peaceful person who advocates self-ownership and personal responsibility. sharing the ideas with as many people as possible along the way. Now, I will work towards a future where all interactions are voluntary and the initiation of force is not considered acceptable in any situation. Once those key elements to a peaceful society are established, there is no limit to the creativity and prosperity we will see. Now, well, after I receive my diploma, I will leave this stage and I will leave this school, and I will go on to be the change that I want to see in the world. Will you? As said by Socrates, I cannot teach anybody anything, I can only make them think.